And hello, YouTube. Hello, TikTok. And hello, Instagram. Okay. I'm sorry, YouTube. Wow. This is very, very bright. Um, so I really don't know how to mess with the exposure on YouTube. So you might want to come to Instagram or TikTok if it gets too bright. Okay. So today I'm reading somebody else's numerology report. If you want yours, the app is in the App Store. Okay. It's called Numerology and Astrology in the App Store. They do have a free version and they do have a paid version. With the paid version, you do get access to your entire report. The free version gives you a couple things, but doesn't give you everything. Okay, so you can either download the app, get the full version, or send me a message if you want me to read yours from mine because I have the paid app and you can add as many profiles as you need. All right. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you, Norman. Thank you for the shares. Thank you for the reposts. Thank you for comments in advance. I'm not going to be able to read your comments while I'm live on Instagram. You guys are actually flipped backwards today so that you can read the board. Okay. TikTok. Let me flip the camera so y'all can see. Hey, Tay Tay. There you go. So TikTok, you guys should be able to read it. YouTube, I can't remember if it lets you read it backwards on the app, but I can't remember if it lets you read it right side up on the laptop. So I'm on a laptop today, so hopefully, matter of fact, let me just see. If you can see that right side up. Oh, okay, good. All right, good. So you guys can see it right side up too. All right. So everybody should be good. Whatever app you're on right now, you should be able to read it. All right. Any questions before I get started? Thank you for them gifts. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Malcolm. Correct camera format. Yes, I was saying, I don't really know how to finesse YouTube's camera settings yet. Not yet. I never even looked into it, so that's what I'm telling you. I literally don't know how to do it because I haven't tried. However, it auto corrects on TikTok and auto corrects on YouTube. So right now, this glare and all this white background you guys are having, it does not look like that if you come on TikTok or Instagram. My Instagram is Unicorn Raya's IG, Unicorn RIAHSIG. My TikTok is the Unicorn Raya, THEE Unicorn RIAH. Okay, because it do look crazy right now. Okay, it look like some old white board behind me, and that's all you see. But if I move around, now you can see it. Okay, and I'm gonna be moving, so it's gonna change. But it doesn't do that if you come on TikTok or Instagram. Any other questions? Oh, let me look at Instagram. Instagram, you got it backwards, so I gotta come here to see y'all comments. No questions on Instagram. Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. All right. Oh, thank you, Byron. Thank you, Vonda. All right. So this is somebody's specific report. All right. So if you have yours, you know your life path numbers and all your numbers actually know your life path number. And you like, oh, hold on, that's mine too. Feel free to tune in to the explanation. If you don't, and you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like I said, numerology and astrology in the App Store. iPhone users. Okay. All right, let's get started. So before I get into what the number is, I will give you an explanation for the title. Okay. So the first one we have is the ruling number, also known as the life path number. Okay. And this person's is 3. All right. Everybody ready? About ruling number. Your ruling number comes from your birth date and describes the central things of your life, your natural strengths, your reoccurring challenges, and the direction your path tends to unfold. It is this in this system, it is your primary number. It shapes how you meet the world and what you are here to develop over time. Understanding it helps you recognize patterns in your choices, relationships, and work, and align your efforts with who you genuinely are. All right. So, like I said, this person's ruling number is 3. So, if your life path number is 3, this is for you as well. Okay. The communicator. Ruling 3 sits at the head of the mind plane, so thought leads everything for you. You understand your life by explaining it, and you meet a problem with analysis long before instinct or physical action gets a turn. Speed of thinking is your obvious asset, and at close quarters, your main liability. Life's purpose. Mental capability is where your development happens. You grow by understanding, and you serve other people through planning, analysis, memory, teaching, and clear explanation rather than through hands-on help or wordless emotional support. Fields that reward a fast, orderly mind are where you leave a mark. And you never feel like yourself in work that asks you to stop thinking. A long task is keeping that intelligence in service of people instead of in judgment of them. Best expression. You process at a pace that leaves rooms behind, reaching the conclusion while the discussion is still on the second point. That alertness surfaces as wit, and you are excellent company, a quick host, a natural with well-timed line, the person who makes a dull agenda enjoyable. Remember that you speak fluently in ideas and hatingly in feelings. What you explain in a single sentence may take you an hour to actually feel. Distinctive traits. Your mind lifts your work and your social life together, and colleagues enjoy you. The sparkle does not always survive the trip home. With acquaintances, you are witty. With the people who live beside you, wit slides into correction, and constant small corrections wear a partner down faster than any argument would. You help generously where there is mental rapport and a willingness to cooperate. No thinking in it, and your face announces it before you decide to hide it. Challenges to overcome. Lived badly, this number produces an air of superiority that nobody around you has earned. Impatience becomes tolerance, and the fault-finding you keep professional at work follows you into the kitchen. The people close you start to feel graded rather than loved. Withholding a criticism you are certain is accurate ranks among the harder disciplines of your life and among the most valuable. Recommended development. Practice feeling on purpose. Ask how a decision landed on someone before you assess whether it was correct. Treat every experience as instruction rather than as proof that you were right all along. Do not hand the blame for a setback to circumstances because your recovery is strong whenever you use it. Round out the mind by developing intuition and getting practically involved at home, doing the physical job yourself instead of theorizing about it or delegating it away. Most suitable vocations: research, teaching, finance, operations analysis, systems and software work, law, editing, and carefully led projects suit your temperament. Writing, criticism, and light entertainment give the verbal side an outlet. Anywhere the product being sold is precise thinking, you compete well against people with more experience. Summary: bright, quick, funny, and happiest with people laughing around your table. The mind never entirely stops assessing. Your closest relationships stay healthy only when you decide against saying every accurate thing you notice. Next is the personal year. And this person's personal year number is 8. About personal year. Your personal year number changes each calendar year and describes the prevailing theme of that year. What is primed to start, develop, consolidate, or close during the months ahead. Years run from 1 through 9 in sequence, so each personal year carries a distinct flavor of energy that builds on the year before it. Knowing your current personal year helps you work with the timing of your life rather than against it. Personal year number 8, the power year. Recognition and material results rise in personal year 8. Career, finances, and authority take the foreground as the cycle climbs toward year 9. Ambition has room to work, provided ethics and humanity stay in the room. This is a year to manage power with maturity. Year energy. Executive energy and practical achievement color the atmosphere. Life accelerates in work and money. You are asked to take larger responsibility, make strategic decisions, or claim recognition for competence already earned. The tone rewards organization, resilience, and fair leadership. Independence matters, yet so does the quality of your alliances. Success is available, so is the temptation to measure worth only by status. Power used wisely compounds. Power used as ego burns fast. Best opportunities: career advancement, business expansion, financial strategy, team leadership, and large practical projects advance when your judgment stays clear. Negotiations, promotions, and institutional efforts respond to competence you demonstrate. Professional respect grows in proportion to ethical consistency. Strategic moves make now shape income and reputation for years. Concrete results are on the table. Earn them through method, not showmanship. Watch out. Under pressure, win the quarter, and lose the relationships that make success inhabitable. Confusing aloofness with independence isolates you from allies you still need. Ego-driven ambition or unfair shortcuts create fast gains and faster losses. Measuring worth by only money or rank invites burnout. Fear-driven control chokes the very results you want. What to focus on? Set clear financial and professional targets for the year with dated milestones. Lead fairly in every room where you hold influence. Delegate one responsibility you habitually hoard. Keep one weekly commitment to relationship or rest that career cannot cancel. Review ethics before major deals. Use recognition to strengthen the work, not to inflate the ego. Balance outward success with inner growth. Do both on purpose. Summary. Personal Year 8 advances achievement through mature power. Lead fairly, manage wisely, and let success remain human. All right, the next one is the expression number. And this person's expression number is 11. About expression number. Your expression number is calculated from all the letters in your full birth name. It describes the talents, abilities, and natural tendencies you carry, the skills you can draw on, and the habits that may hold you back. It works closely with your ruling number. When the two align, those themes reinforce each other. When they differ, you may feel a pull between your core path and the way your name vibration wants you to express it to the world. Expression number 11, the inspirational channel. As an 11/2 expression, your name carries a high charge sitting on a cooperative base. Understanding arrives suddenly and whole, well ahead of the reasoning that would justify it to anyone else. This is largely a question of grounding because the current is real and it needs to go somewhere. Core traits. Perception outruns explanation to you. You reach the answer before you can show any work, and you learn to trust it only after being proved right enough times to stop arguing with yourself. Sensitivity to atmosphere is acute, so a tense room registers in your body within seconds of entering it. Sleep, food, and a settled home settle insight from nervous static. Work and success. Teaching, counseling, healing work, ministry, writing, music, and design. Let this perception land somewhere useful. Inspiration alone builds no career. So pair it with a trade that has technique and standards behind it. Roles requiring you to translate something difficult into something a person can act on suit you exactly. Your other core numbers usually indicate the field. Relationships. You attune to a partner rapidly and will carry their mood home as though it were originally yours. That closeness is a gift when chosen and a slow drain when automatic. Idolizing the relationship sets up a disappointment neither of you deserves to sit through. Say what you are feeling in plain words instead of expecting to be intuitive in return. Challenges. Nervous tension is the recurring cost of this vibration. Overstimulation surfaces as irritability, broken sleep, or a flat spell arriving with no visible cause behind it. Ideals that never touch the ground turn into frustration when everyone living practically around you. Handle money, keep appointments, do the dull maintenance because a functioning life makes the sensitivity usable. Summary. Expression 11/1 asks you to turn perception into something another person can actually use. Ground the current, protect your nerves, and offer what you see without insisting anybody accept it. Inspiration that stays attached to daily life is the entire point of this number. Somebody near you is waiting for a sentence only you will think to say. Next is the urge number. And this person's soul urge number is 6. About soul urge number. Your soul urge number comes from the vowels in your full birth name. It points to what you want at a deep level, your inner motivations, emotional needs, and the experiences that genuinely satisfy you. While the other numbers describe how you act or appear, why you do what you do, and what your heart is reaching toward. Soul urge number 6, the devoted heart. People are where the vowels in your name point. Being needed by someone you love is not a burden you tolerate. It sits close to the center of what makes a life feel worthwhile to you. A house with nobody in it is a version of failure you privately fear most. Core desire. Making things better for others motivates you, and making them beautiful while you're at it comes with the same heavy, right up to the point where it silently doubles. Domestic warmth, fairness, and something well made are your measures of a good life. Knowing someone is genuinely all right because of you beats any praise. Love and relationships. You give first and ask later, and there are years when you never ask. Family can be into or you assemble yourself. Reciprocity has to be requested out loud.
because whoever benefits will not spot the imbalance unaided. Let yourself be looked after without treating it as a debt. Career path. Work that improves a specific person's day satisfies you far more than work that improves a metric. Teaching, care, hospitality, design, and any craft whose result somebody uses gives in a return you are looking for. Recognition matters less to you than seeing the effect. A role with no human being at the end of it feels pointless quickly. Watch outs. Worry is the tax this number pays. You anticipate every way a situation might hurt somebody you love and carry all those possibilities at once. Over-involvement follows, and it reaches the other person as pressure rather than as care. Notice when advice has become supervision. Rest before depletion, since the collapsed version of you helps nobody. How to align. Soul Urge 6 is satisfied by love expressed as practical care. Ask plainly for what you need in return, and let the people you love handle their own consequences sometimes. A generous life with limits inside it runs for 50 years, while one without limits burns out. Everybody worse off than before. The next number is the outer expression number. And this person's outer expression number is 5. About outer expression number. Your outer expression number is built from the consonants in your full birth name. It describes the image you project, the first impression you give, and the qualities people notice before they know you well. Think of it as your social presentation, the traits you show readily as you meet the world. Outer expression number 5, the dynamic free spirit. Quick and mobile is how the consonant side of your name presents. You look like somebody with elsewhere to be and something interesting to report about where you just have come from. Adaptability is visible in how you cross a room and how easily you change register in it. First impression. Movement is what registers first. Quick speech, easy laughter, and comfort among unfamiliar people mark you out within a minute of arriving in. You adjust your manner to whoever is in front of you without appearing false about it. Occasionally, you surprise a room by being cautious, though the default read is curious, unattached, and interested in what happens next. Style and appearance. This front carries clothes well and knows it. You mix quality with comfort and reach for a bolder color or an unusual detail whenever the setting allows for one. Nothing about your look suggests a single fixed identity, which is accurate enough. Ease of movement outranks formality, and people register that you are dressed for going somewhere rather than for sitting still. Strengths people notice. Fast thinking and persuasion come across at once. You spot opening in a conversation, connect to people who should have met years ago, and improvise when a plan collapses at short notice. Others see resourcefulness and a mind working several angles simultaneously. Range belongs to the impression itself, since you talk comfortably with almost anybody about almost anything. Watch outs. Restlessness leaks into the impression whenever you feel confined. You check the time, the phone, the exit, and whoever is opposite reads it as disinterest, even when it is nothing of the kind. Overindulgence shows on the surface faster here than with most numbers. Choose responsive company and flexible settings. Then give the person present your undivided attention. Summary. Outer expression 5 projects freedom, speed, and a quick tongue. Stay versatile and easy to talk to, and let people also watch you finish something and remain somewhere. Curiosity that lands is far more attractive than curiosity forever, moving along to whatever comes next. Give one room your full presence and watch how differently people respond to you. Next is the birthday number. And their birthday number is master number 22. So if you're born on the 22nd of any month, this is for you as well. About birthday number. Your birthday number is the day of the month you were born, 1 through 31. It highlights a complementary side of you, the way you express yourself day to day, alongside your broader ruling number themes. When it echoes your ruling number, the day of birth influence is especially strong. When it differs, it adds an alternate current. Treat that current as support for your main path instead of a replacement. Number 22, the legacy builder. Scale defines the 22nd. This is a 22/4 day of birth current. You sense that something large is possible, and you also know it will require drawings, budgets, and years. Intuition and practicality have to operate as one before the vision arrives. Personality snapshot. You organize, lead, and build things meant to stand. Fear of the size of your own idea shows up as doubt, delay, or sudden enthusiasm for a smaller project. Withdrawing the vision, it postpones it. Odd ruling number, this date gives your ideals a constructive schedule. With an even one, keep asking who the structure actually serves before you scale it. Work and success. Systematic planning turns your insight into physical form. Institutions, infrastructure, long programs, and anything on a 10-year horizon reward your mix of foresight and method. Your first impression of a person or proposal is worth writing down, and realism about the next achievable steps keeps everything moving. Relationships. A partner who understands the mission supports you better than one who merely admires it. You need somebody willing to hear the practical version of the dream, including the years it will take. Idealism without workable method wears out the people standing nearest you. Challenges. Power pursued as an end in itself is how this date goes. Break the large aim into stages you will actually complete and report progress to someone who will notice. Small, faithful steps rebuild your confidence considerably faster than another grand plan does. Summary. Master builder capacity runs underneath the 22nd. Integrate the practical with the visionary. Ship the first stage, and what you build keeps working after you step away. Next, we have the period cycles. And this person's first period number is 3, which affects them from ages birth to 33 years. About period numbers. Period numbers describe 3 long chapters of inner growth drawn from your birth date. Your first number comes from your birth month, your second from your birthday, and your third from your birth year. Together, they trace adolescence, maturity, and fulfillment. Support. The first period runs from birth until your first peak age, with your ruling number places between your mid-20s and your mid-30s, when physical experience, schooling, and early identity dominate. The second period spans about 27 years of maturity, when mental development, emotional control, career building, and family life come forward most strongly. The third period continues for life, favoring spiritual depth, wisdom, and inner independence. Unlike peak cycles, which describe the environment around you, period cycles mark the internal work each life phase asks you to complete. This person's first period number is 3. The expression period, from birth to age 33. This first period chapter draws from your birth month, covers the adolescence phase, from birth through early childhood, when physical experience, schooling, and the first shaping of individuality dominate. Finding and using your voice is the inner work of period number 3. Creativity, communication, and social connection want room to develop across this chapter. Visibility only matters when it carries substance, yet hiding talent wastes the gift. Joy becomes a teacher when it is paired with craft. Core theme. Self-expression and lively mental energy set the pulse of this long chapter. You are meant to develop talents in language, art, humor, performance, teaching, or design, and to learn that shared inspiration changes rooms. The tone is curious, outward-facing, and socially responsive. Ideas want form. Feelings want an audience that receives it honestly. This period asks you to practice being seen without confusing applause for depth. Growth path. This chapter favors writing, speaking, teaching, design, and any craft that translates feeling into form. Social ease opens doors, but the deeper lesson is discipline, turning inspiration into finished work. Travel, study, and varied experience widen the range of what you say well. Feedback becomes useful when it refines the work instead of silencing the voice. Over time, charm matures into communication that actually helps. Natural strengths, charm, wit, imagination, and verbal agility are natural assets. You uplift a room, simplify complex ideas, and inspire others when enthusiasm stays anchored. A lively mind and a quick tongue are genuine gifts of this vibration. Creative problem solving appears as humor or elegant phrasing before it becomes a formal plan. What lingers is the emotional imprint of your presence, not only the clever line. Watch outs. Scattered focus, gossip, overspending, and mood swings appear when energy has no channel. Performing for attention without depth leaves you hollow, and saying more than you mean damages trust. Self-indulgence dressed as creativity wastes the gift this period offers. Half-done work stacks up whenever novelty outranks completion. Criticism of yourself or others sharpens into a habit that kills joy. Summary. Period 3 asks for joyful expression with backbone. Share your voice generously. Finish what matters. And let creativity serve understanding, not escape. This person's second period number is 2. And it affects them from age 34 to 60 years. Second period 22, the master builder period. This second period chapter draws from your birthday. It spans the maturity phase, about 27 years, when mental development, emotional control, career building, and family life take precedence. Skill with integrity becomes the inner demand of period number 22, the 22/4 master vibration. Large vision wants practical form across this chapter. Small aims suddenly feel insignificant, not from ego alone, but because the vibration is designed for substantial building. Method is the price of mastery. Core theme: builder energy, institutional vision, and practical idealism converge here into a demand for scale. You sense that your work should outlast you and serve more than private comfort. Under the surface, this phase asks you to scale with integrity, not control for its own sake. Institution and discipline must cooperate. One without the other either daydreams or micromanages. This chapter asks you to organize people, resources, and long-range plans into structures that improve real lives. Ambition becomes meaningful when it is measured by usefulness. Growth path. Organizing complex efforts becomes a central lesson. Entrepreneurial paths, public systems, and legacy projects legacy projects draw you when self-doubt does not stall action. Require proof at every stage before the next expansion begins. You learn to delegate, pace yourself, and keep the larger aim alive through ordinary weeks of execution. Growth looks like staged construction. Foundations first, then load-bearing systems, then the visible form others finally use. Natural strengths, coordination, endurance, and the ability to turn abstract need into workable design are major strengths. You see what communities lack and draft structures that meet real life, not only imagination. Long-range thinking paired with practical detail makes you unusually capable in complex builds. People trust your plans when they see both vision and method. Persistence under pressure becomes one of your defining assets. Watch-outs. Fear of scale, perfectionism, and over-control delay many. Burnout arrives quickly when delegation is refused and worth is measured only by output. Builder energy twisted by ego creates monuments, not service. Anxiety about failing a large aim freezes you into endless preparation. Control that refuses collaboration eventually isolates the very project that needs a team. Summary. Period 22/4 asks for practical vision at scale. Build in stages, serve beyond yourself, and let mastery become durable contribution. And this person's third period number is 5. And it affects them from 61 years until they're gone. Third period 5, the freedom period. This period chapter draws from your birth year. It opens the fulfillment phase. From your later peak years onward, when spiritual growth, wisdom, and deeper self-understanding come forward. Experience becomes the teacher in period number 5. Movement, experiment, and progressive change shape your inner growth across this chapter. Curiosity wants room to breathe, and stale patterns loose the grip. The lesson is using freedom wisely, so variety expands you instead of scattering you. Core theme, change, curiosity, and adaptability run through this chapter like a live wire. Life asks you to learn through direct experience, travel, new people, shifting roles, and ideas that break stale patterns. The goal is progressive growth, not restless escape. You feel most alive when the horizon widens, yet the inner work is learning which openings deserve commitment. Freedom here is a skill. Change consciously rather than flee discomfort automatically. Growth path. You change jobs, locations, or social circles more than once while discovering what truly fits. Communication skills sharpen, and versatility is an asset when guided by purpose. Each transition teaches you more about what freedom actually requires: honesty, consequences, and the courage to stay when staying is the braver choice. Progressive experiments work best when you extract the lesson and keep one anchor intact. Over time, adaptability matures into resourcefulness. Natural strengths: quick thinking, social ease, and openness to novelty are genuine strengths. Sales, media, travel, teaching, and adaptive work suit this chapter when judgment stays engaged. Without freezing in routine, you translate between worlds, people, ideas, places, and that transition skill becomes valuable. Humor and flexibility help you recover faster than rigid temperaments after disruption. Wax impulsiveness, overindulgence, and unfinished projects scatter results. Chasing stimulation for its own sake looks like growth, but leaves little behind. Freedom mistaken for avoidance repeats the same lesson until discipline is chosen consciously. Major gambits made only to escape boredom cost more than they teach. Staying put feels like captivity until you learn that roots protect adventure rather than end it. Summary: Period 5 liberates through experience. Embrace change with judgment and let variety teach you rather than scatter you. Next are and their first peak number is 7, and it affects the Earth until 33 years. About peak numbers. Peak numbers mark 4 phases of maturity on your life pyramid, each with its own number and theme. They describe the external atmosphere around you, the opportunities, relationships, and circumstances you meet, while your ruling number and period numbers trace the inner work. Your ruling number sets when the first peak arrives, somewhere between your mid-20s and mid-30s. Each later period follows 9 years after the one before it. On the third and fourth peaks only, a total of 10 or 11 may stay unreduced. You often feel a shift about 2 years before a new peak, especially in the latter half of that period, when marriage, career moves, or major personal decisions are common. The passage from your first to your second peak is often the sharpest gateway to maturity and a clearer sense of identity. Your second and third peaks tend to weigh heavily on productive and professional life. Influence usually builds in the personal year before your peak year. climaxes during that personal year 9 season and eases through the personal year 3 that follows. Each peak adds supplementary thrust alongside your ruling number. Let it support your main path rather than replace it. So this person's first peak number is 7, which affects them from birth until age 33. The analysis peak. Study, specialization, and inner searching dominate peak number. Excuse me. Dominate peak number 7. Life feels quieter than neighboring peaks, yet death accelerates through research, spiritual practice, technical mastery, or contemplative skill. The world around you rewards expertise earned in solitude and tested in reality. Surface answers lose appeal. Truth lived in practice becomes the prize. Core energy. This is an empirical and reflective phase, testing, refining, and proving what you understand through practice. The atmosphere favors analysis, intuition, and becoming an expert in something that matters. Faith and reason both have roles where neither pretends to own the whole story. There's no better teacher than experience examined carefully. Recognition arrives through depth rather than volume. People trust what you have verified, not what you have only advertised. Best opportunities. Research, therapy, spiritual study, specialized technical work, writing, mentoring, natural healing, and artistic mentorship open now. Paths that require concentration rather than constant networking fit well. Formal study and post-academic specialization formalize wisdom you already live. Quiet authority grows when you share tested insight at the right time. Depth becomes marketable when it solves real problems. Watch out. If your maturity is not yet sufficient, the phase extends preparation rather than granting authority. Resisting the call to share delays your next level of insight. Withdrawal, cynicism, skepticism, or emotional distance block the relationships this peak still needs. Wisdom used as a reason to disappear eventually turns into loneliness. Living only in theory wastes the empirical lesson Peak 7 is designed to teach. What to focus on? Stay humble while you deepen. Solitude still matters, but hoarding wisdom slows both your progress and others' benefit. Test insights in real life before teaching them as final truth. Develop faith and deepen in depth without disappearing from the people who would genuinely grow through your example. Let specialization serve life, not replace it. Summary. Peak 7 matures through disciplined understanding. Share what experiences have proven, and the phase deepens your path while helping others find footing. This person's second peak number is 9, and it affects them from age 34 years to 42 years. Second peak number 9. The humanity 34 to 42. A wider lens opens during peak number 9. Compassion, completion, and responsibility beyond private appetite. Mental engagement is essential. Assessing needs, reviewing relationships, and releasing what has finished its season. Endings clear space for a more meaningful direction. The outer world asks more of your time, testing whether your generosity comes with discernment. Core energy. Many people seek your time. Some requests are genuine opportunities to serve. Others test whether sympathy is open to manipulation. Discrimination strengthens through both. Significant lifestyle change is common early in the influence. New work, a move, a wider circle accompanies growth toward maturity. The atmosphere favors compassion with judgment, idealism with release, and a broader sense of justice. Private ambition still matters, yet it feels incomplete without contribution. Best opportunities. Service roles, community work, publishing, counseling, advocacy, philanthropy, and vocational shifts that help others fit this phase. Business and creative work also prosper when purpose stays humane. Relocation and meaningful vocation changes align. Relocation and meaningful vocation changes align with a larger aim. Recognition for wisdom, creativity, humane leadership emerges when your giving stays grounded. Completion itself becomes opportunity. Closing chapters frees capacity for what still serves you. Watchouts. Sympathy without boundaries drains you. Promises made from guilt rather than discernment backfire. Scattering energy across every plea weakens the service you genuinely offer. Idealism without release turns into resentment when life fails to match your vision. Martyrdom is not maturity. Gripping closed seasons stops the renewal this peak is trying to deliver. What to focus on. Do not confuse service with self-erasure. Review relationships and surroundings with both compassion and clear judgment. Forgive where forgiveness is honest. Release what has completed its season, and make room for what still deserves your best effort. Serve where need is real and your contribution is sustainable. Summary. Peak 9 asks for idealism with judgment. Serve where need is real and let change support maturity rather than scatter it. This person's third peak number is 7, and it affects them from age 43 years to 51 years. Third peak number 7, the analysis peak, age 43 to 51. Study, specialization, and inner searching dominate peak number 7. Life feels quieter than neighboring peaks. Oh, it's the same as their first peak. All right. I'm like, hold on, I know I just read this. Their peak site number repeats. So let's go to their fourth peak. Their fourth peak number is 8. And it affects them from 52 until they're gone. Fourth peak number 8, the achievement peak, age 52 until they're gone. Authority, recognition, and material results come into focus in peak number 8. Constructive use of power matters now, especially when limiting situations have blocked full self-expression. Career scope, financial growth, and executive responsibility increase when judgment stays fair. The outer world asks whether you handle larger stakes without losing your ethics or your humanity. Core energy, personal authority, and sound judgment rise together. The climate rewards results, organizational skill, and the willingness to manage responsibly at a higher level than before. Business, leadership, and large practical systems respond when you act with clarity and composure. Material progress is available, yet the deeper prize is power used with maturity. Competence becomes visible, excuses become expensive. This peak tests whether success serves a life you respect. Best opportunities, leadership, enterprise, business expansion, and large organizational effort advance when you act with clarity. Executive decisions made now shape income, reputation, and scope for years. Others defer to competence they see and trust. Strategic financial moves, team building, and institutional projects fit when fairness guides the plan. Real-world gains are available. Take them through method, not theatrics. Watch outs. Aloofness appears when your independence is frustrated by control or dependency. Letting material success overshadow human values turns power into pressure. Work obsession, hardness, and ego-driven ambition create quick gains and faster losses. Unfairness or impatience returns as swiftly as opportunity when stakes arise. If status is your only scoreboard, relationships go brittle and wins feel hollow. What to focus on? Use wealth and influence as tools, not identity. Keep spiritual and relational balance while you claim the autonomy and recognition this peak offers. Lead fairly, stay ethical under pressure, and let success include the people who helped you build it. Notice when aloofness is protection and where it is only avoidance. Summary. Peak number 8 empowers mature achievement. Lead fairly and practical success aligns with inner freedom. Next are the challenge numbers. And this person's first challenge number is 1. And it affects them from birth to 33 years. About challenge numbers. You have 4 challenge numbers derived from your birthday through subtraction. The absolute difference between month and day, the first, year and day, the second, first and second results, the third, and month and year, the fourth. Each result is reduced to a single digit from 0 to 8. A challenge number names the friction most likely to surface in that life chapter. The habit, fear, or blind spot asking for conscious work. Challenges are not punishments. They mark where growth is concentrated. The third challenge, calculated from your other 2 challenge results, is often called your main challenge and may be felt throughout your entire life, not only in one age bracket. The fourth challenge usually gains its strongest emphasis from your mid-50s or early 60s onward, depending on your ruling number, though all 4 can overlap as life unfolds. All right, so the first challenge, number 1, the Independence Challenge. The first challenge is calculated from the difference between your birth month and birthday. It shapes the opening chapter of life, childhood, through the years leading up to your first peak. Self-reliance is the growth edge named by challenge number 1. Personal authority and the courage to stand apart when your judgment says you must become the repeated lesson. Dependence upon approval or borrowed plans is the friction that keeps returning until you leave yourself first. Core challenge. The central friction is dependence on approval, on others' plans, or on the safety of following the herd. Independence must be earned through trial, error, and the willingness to own your decisions even when they disappoint someone. You know what you want and still wait for permission that never arrives. The challenge is not becoming aggressive. It is becoming self-directed. Authentic authority grows when you act from conviction and accept the consequences without handing the reins back at the first sign of resistance. Common patterns. You wait for a stronger personality to decide, then resent the loss of autonomy. Borrowed goals feel safer until they shrink you. You hesitate at thresholds that require your name on the outcome. Approval seeking delays launches, conversations, and exits that are already overdue. When independence finally flares, it arrives as abrupt rebellion rather than steady self-trust. Growth focus. Practice small acts of self-direction daily. Choose the plan. Name the preference. Make the call. Take responsibility for outcomes without waiting for a chorus of agreement. Build competence in one area where your judgment is final. Ask for information, then decide. Let independence include collaboration that strengthens your aim rather than replaces your voice. Watch outs. Domination is not the cure for dependence. Isolating yourself to prove autonomy recreates the same fear in a lonelier costume. Impatience and pride burn the bridges that would support mature independence. Rebelling against every structure wastes the energy meant for building your own. Self-direction without accountability becomes another form of avoidance. Summary. Challenge 1 matures when you lead yourself first. Clear aim, steady will, and the courage to cooperate without surrendering your center. This person's second challenge number is also 1. And it affects them from 34 years to 60. It is the same challenge that we just read, repeated. And this person's third or main challenge number is 0. Third challenge number 0, the open challenge. The third challenge is derived from the gap between your first and second challenge numbers. Many numerologists treat this as your defining challenge, the core friction your chart keeps returning to across every stage. And usually open field marks challenge number 0. With no fixed single-digit friction from the subtraction, you meet a wide range of possibilities rather than one dominant obstacle. Breath feels like freedom and like a test of focus. Choice itself becomes the repeated lesson. Core challenge. This challenge is about direction and commitment, not a single narrow wall you must climb. Life opens many doors at once, and narrowing them becomes the real work. Unusual latitude means freedom and accountability travel together. You sense openings in several directions and feel responsible for wasting none of them. Yet, that very sense of infinite option delays the mastery that only sustained attention creates. The friction is subtle, not blocked opportunity, but diluted effort. Common patterns. Periods of drift alternate with bursts of hands-on ambition in service, craft, and enterprise. You sample many paths before committing, or spread energy across causes without finishing any one thread. Reflection runs deeper than action until a clear aim appears. People admire your range while wondering what you will finally choose. When pressure rises, you pivot toward another interesting option instead of staying with the unfinished one that would actually grow you. Growth focus. Study the constructive side of numbers 1 through 8 and choose one arena to develop with discipline. Service, teaching, healing, enterprise, or creative work all fit when tied to a concrete plan and a finish line. Mastery in one direction turns open possibility into lasting contribution. Pick a worthy aim for a season. Measure progress weekly and let breath become depth through deliberate focus. Your gift is range. Your growth is commitment that still leaves room for later chapters. Watch outs. focus, overwhelm, and scattered effort become the real risk. Humanitarian ideals feel inspiring in theory, yet hard to ground in daily life. Avoiding commitment looks like openness, or quietly postponing the growth you actually need. Endless research, endless options, and endless preparation are elegant forms of delay. Freedom without a chosen priority eventually feels empty rather than spacious. Summary. Challenge 0 rewards focused generosity over endless option hunting. Pick a worthy aim, stay with it, and let breath become depth. And finally, therefore, challenge number 2. It affects them from age 61 years until they're gone. Fourth challenge number 2, the sensitivity challenge, from age 61 until they're gone. The fourth challenge is calculated from the difference between your birth month and birth year. Its emphasis usually strengthens in later time, inviting a cleaner expression of what you have learned. Sensitivity and cooperation sit at the heart of challenge number 2. Patience, diplomacy, and emotional honesty need room to develop without disappearing into other people's needs. Force fails. Timing and tact succeed. The friction returns whenever you abandon your center to keep a false peace. Core challenge. The recurring test is balancing receptivity with self-respect. You feel others intensely and lose track of your own preferences under the weight of their moods. Partnership, timing, and quiet influence are the skills this challenge trains. The work is not to harden, it is to stay open without self-erasure. Cooperation becomes strength when it includes a clear boundary you refuse to negotiate away. Common patterns. You say yes to keep harmony, then simmer with unspoken resentment. Necessary conversations get postponed until the relationship cracks. You absorb the emotional climate of every room and call it kindness. Material goals get forced or relational needs go unmet, or the reverse. Approval becomes the compass and your own direction fades. Growth focus. Name one preference in every important alliance and keep it kindly. Practice disagreement without abandoning care. Use artistic or musical outlets to restore your equilibrium after intense relating. Let patience serve clarity rather than delay. Build trust through honest timing. Speak when the truth is due, not when comfort returns. Watch-outs. Smoothing every edge to likable delays the growth honest friction we bring. Avoiding conflict to preserve an image of peace creates larger distance later. Hypersensitivity without boundaries turns every critique into a crisis. Withdrawing into silence after overgiving leaves partners guessing. Self-awareness becomes expensive the moment it overrides your self-respect. Summary. Challenge 2 matures when cooperation includes a spine. Stay open, stay honest, and let partnerships strengthen rather than replace your identity in every important bond. Next is the balance method. And their balance number is 7. About balance number. Your balance number comes from the initials of your full birth name, first, middle, and last, where you have them. Add their numerology values and reduce to a single digit. Master numbers reduce here too. Usually this number stays in the background, but when emotional turmoil hits, it describes your instinctive coping style, how you tend to react under pressure, and what helps you regain equilibrium. It is a supporting number rather than a defining one, yet it becomes especially useful when life feels off-center. Balance number 7, the reflective analyst. Balance number 7 turns inward when emotions run hot. Private mental shelter feels wise until withdrawal quietly postpones the action or conversation the situation still requires. Reflection is your strength. An endless delay dressed in analysis is the shadow. Stress pattern. Retreat can look like wisdom while it delays repair. Feelings may flood the mind and cloud the very analysis you trust, leaving you stuck between insight and avoidance. You might research endlessly, replay conversations alone, or wait for perfect certainty before taking one imperfect step that would actually move things. Core strength. Clear thinking is your asset. When you're not drowning in the mood of the moment, you can dissect a problem with precision and find the path others overlook. Depth, pattern recognition, and honest self-inquiry are tools that restore you when they lead somewhere tangible. Balance key. Separation restores your balance because feeling and analysis compete in you when they share the same moment. Give your thinking a little distance from the emotional surge, then return deliberately to action. Solitude is your medicine, while isolation as a permanent strategy is not, especially when another person is waiting on your answer. Practical steps. Write 2 columns. Give yourself a set time to feel, then let reason take the next shift with one small action based on evidence. Share the 1-paragraph summary with one calm person if you tend to loop alone. And set a clock for when the action happens. Summary. Balance 7 works when depth meets motion. The best answer appears once analysis is allowed to lead, then act. Insight completes itself in a world, not only in private. Next is the secret passion number. And this person's secret passion number is 5. Secret passion number 5, the hidden adventurer. Oh, whoa. Let me tell you what the passion number is first. My bad. Sorry. About secret passion number. Your secret passion number is the digit that appears most frequently among the letters of your full birth name. When 2 or more digits tie for most frequent, each tied digit is a secret passion. It highlights a concentrated talent or drive, your most repeated inner specialty, whether you have named it yet or not. This hidden passion marks a field of expertise that shapes personality and quietly demands expression. When you align daily choices with it, it becomes one of your steadiest sources of energy and direction. Secret passion number 5, the hidden adventurer. Variety is a need, not a treat. Whenever hidden passion 5 clusters in your name, change, movement, and curiosity are repeated specialties. Progressive experience keeps your intelligence alive, provided freedom has an anchor. Core traits. You adapt fast, learn languages and ideas quickly, and communicate with flair. Promotion, travel, writing, and public-facing settings energize this restless intelligence that hates feeling boxed in. Novelty wakes you up. Confinement dulls you. Explore energy marks you. Resourcefulness under changing conditions. Appetite for progressive experience, and a talent for translating between people and worlds. Hidden strength. Original thinking and humor help you navigate unfamiliar ground. Resourcefulness shows up when rules loosen and something new is possible. Social ease and quick learning are repeated gifts. Sales, media, travel, teaching, and adaptive problem solving suit this energy. You recover from disruption faster than rigid temperaments when curiosity stays engaged. Variety becomes expertise when you extract lessons instead of only collecting thrills. Growth focus. Freedom needs an anchor. Finish one commitment, weigh consequences before impulse lands, and let adventure deepen instead of merely multiplying. Keep one stable practice that receives you after every challenge. Choose progressive experiences that expand skill, not only sensation. Write down what each adventure teaches. Let versatility become mastery in at least one chosen field so movement compounds into wisdom. Watch outs. Appetite for sensation overtake judgment. Food, drink, thrill, or novelty used to escape rather than explore. Starting strong and fading early is a familiar pattern. Settling in feels like a cage until you learn that roots protect adventure. Impulsive exits erase progress. A life built only on change eventually feels oddly empty when nothing deepens. Summary. Passion 5 matures when movement teaches you. Experience that widens life without dissolving what you have built. The next number is the subconscious self number. And their subconscious self number is 7. About subconscious self number. Your subconscious self number counts how many of the 9 energies, 1 through 9, show up among the letters of your full birth name, and in turn, how equipped you feel when something unplanned arrives. It is a snapshot of instinctive self-belief, what you reach for automatically when plans shift or pressure rises. To find it, the letters of your name are reduced to digits, and you count how many different digits appear at least once. Every digit absent from your name is a karmic lesson, so this number is simply 9 minus the count of those lessons. And for most full names, it lands between 3 and 9. Which energies you are missing matters as much as how many. So 2 people with the same score can lose their footing in completely different situations. Open your karmic lessons to see exactly which ones are yours. Subconscious self number 7, well-rounded. 2 energies never appear in your name, and 7 do. You are broadly self-assured, with a couple of specific situations where the confidence you take for granted quietly fails to turn up. Baseline response. Most of what happens feels manageable, and you meet it with a steady hand that other people notice. 2 kinds of challenge tied to your missing numbers leave you hesitant in a way that feels out of character. That contrast can be more disorienting than the difficulty itself. Under real pressure, you generally keep your footing and think clearly. Pressure also exposes your 2 gaps more sharply than anything else does, so those are the moments where you may freeze, over-prepare, or hand the problem to someone else without quite noticing you did. Natural assets. Capability across 7 of the 9 makes you adaptable in most company. People read that reputation is largely earned and worth protecting. It also makes it easy to ask for in the 2 narrow areas where you need it. Growth focus. 2 gaps are few enough to handle by name. Work out exactly what each one is and write a short protocol for it, the way you would for any rare but predictable event. Resist generalizing from those 2 wobbles into a story about being less capable than you are. Summary. Largely well-equipped, your growth is narrow and specific. Turn 2 soft spots into situations you can meet with the same steadiness you already bring with everything else. Very little separates this score from the top of the scale, and the distance is measured in a pair of habits rather than any broad deficiency. And those 2 numbers that are missing, those 2 lessons they keep talking about, are your karmic lessons, which are next. So 2 areas they're talking about are karmic lesson number 7 and karmic lesson number 8. Okay, karmic lessons. About karmic lessons. A karmic lesson appears when one or more digits, 1 through 9, never turn up among the letters of your full birth name. Each missing number marks an area where confidence or skill does not arrive on its own. So you are invited to build that quality deliberately across a lifetime. These gaps are not flaws to hide. Once named, they read as a curriculum rather than events are the compound numbers 13, 14, and 19 traced to your birthday and core calculations, while lessons come only from absent name letters. Your karmic lessons and your subconscious self are read from the same letters, so the more numbers missing here, the lower that score. Where a lesson number also shows up among your core numbers, or where life supplies a structure your name did not, its pressure usually eases. Okay, so like I said, they have two numbers that they're missing. First one is 7, inner maturity. Karmic lesson 7 asks for depth, real expertise in something, and an honest relationship with your own interior. Surface answers rarely satisfy you for long, but you may accept them anyway rather than sit with the questions underneath. Core lesson. Specialized knowledge and emotional literacy are the missing pieces. Feelings may get handled by shutdown rather than understanding, particularly if early life gave you good reasons to stop feeling quickly. You know a little about many things, and that breadth is easy to mistake for the depth you actually want. Common patterns. Grief, irritation, and doubt accumulate in you unprocessed, then surface as fatigue or reaction out of all proportion to its trigger. Your interests rotate every few months. Each one dropped just before the difficult middle where competence is made. First impressions get accepted as conclusions because checking them costs you time. Growth focus. Depth is built by staying past the boring part. Choose one domain and pursue it well beyond the point where you can hold a conversation about it. Pair that with honest self-review conducted without contempt. Solitude is a tool here rather than a symptom, and quiet is where second-layer answers tend to live. Practical shift. Commit to one subject or skill for 90 days and log your hours somewhere visible. Write for 10 minutes when a feeling arrives instead of waiting for it to pass. Before you accept any explanation this week, ask one more question than feels necessary, and sit with the answer rather than moving straight on. Summary. A ruling or soul urge 7 already supplies the inward pull, while a well-placed 4 anywhere in your core numbers contributes the persistent that mastery demands. A long period number 7 teaches the same material slowly, whether or not you cooperate with it. Lesson 7 fulfills when and their next karmic lesson number is 8. Lesson of stewardship. Karmic lesson 8 concerns money, authority, and the limits of both. Commercial instinct may be perfectly good, while stewardship lags behind, because holding resources well is a different skill from acquiring them, and a considerably less exciting one. Core lesson. Managing resources and respecting real constraints is the gap. Income can swing because caution slips at exactly the wrong moment, or because confidence outruns your actual understandings of the downside. Power is easy to acquire than to carry, and carrying it well is the part being taught. Common patterns. A know-it-all streak blocks the advice that would have saved you. Pride makes mentorship feel like a demotion. Bets get sized by optimism rather than arithmetic. Status gets chased while the relationships that make success bearable go unattended. And the win arrives strangely flat. Nobody warns you because from the outside, you look like someone who knows. Growth focus. Balance is the entire lesson. Ambition disciplined by restraint. Learn the specific weight your resources can carry and numbers you have actually written down. Treat people as part of the ledger rather than obstacles to it. Authority used generously tends to renew itself, while authority used carelessly spins down fast. Practical shift. Track every expense for 1 month without editorializing about it. Build a buffer before the next opportunity rather than after. Run any major risk past one person qualified to tell you no, and schedule relationship time with a. Treat both of those as non-negotiable line items. Summary. An expression or ruling 8 already runs material competence through your chart, and a practical 4 steadies the execution. A challenge number 8 offers identical tuition through repetition, usually the expensive way. Lesson 8 steadies when wealth serves the life you want rather than the other way around. Next, we have the karmic debts. And this person has 3 karmic debt numbers. And their karmic debt numbers are 14, 16, and 19. About karmic debt. Karmic debts are the compound numbers 13, 14, 16, and 19. They appear when a core calculation, ruling number, birthday, expression, soul urge, or outer expression passes through one of those passes through one of those totals before reducing to a single digit. Unlike karmic lessons, missing name letters, debts mark areas where life tends to start at the harder end of the spectrum and ask for conscious correction. They are not punishments, they are pressure points that sharpen discipline, moderation, humility, or honest self-reliance when you meet them directly. You may carry none, one, or several debts across different core positions. So the first karmic debt number is 14, which is found in their soul. Depth of moderation. Freedom is the reward and the trap in one package. When 14 turns up in a core total on its way to 5, life hands you unusual latitude and then measures how well you handle it. The debt is not asking you to live smaller, it is asking you to stay awake inside your choices and to notice the difference between an adventure and an exit. Core debt. At some point, liberty was spent carelessly. The habit of overspending it has traveled with you. You might recognize it as appetite without a break. Too many yeses, one more round, one more escape hatch pulled at the first sign of tedium. None of this is about denial. It is about being present for the thing you already chose. Common patterns. Big changes arrive suddenly and cost more than the version you sold yourself. Promises outrun capacity. Substances, screens, or serial reinvention step whenever feelings get uncomfortable. Boredom announces itself as destiny and tells you to uproot everything, when what you actually need is a better outlet, a real conversation, and a full night of sleep. Growth focus. Aim for adaptability that carries accountability with it. Change remains your birthright under this number. The requirement is that you name the value a change serves before you act on it out loud when the stakes are high. Freedom you are willing to explain tends to hold. Freedom you have to hide is usually the debt talking. Practical shift. Before your next impulsive yes, write 2 lines. What you hope this gives you and what it will quietly cost. Then choose 1 anchor that stays fixed while everything else moves. Sleep, a train schedule, or a weekly look at your bank balance all qualify. Keep that anchor for 90 days without negotiating it. Summary. Debt 14/5 loosens the moment freedom stops meaning escape and starts meaning a choice you would defend in daylight. Look at which core total ran through 14, and you will see the arena where your appetite most needs a steering wheel, which was your soul urge number. Their next karmic debt number is 16. It was found in their outer expression number. Debt of humility. Something built on image, pride, or a story that had to be maintained comes apart. And the person who walks out of the wreckage is more honest than the one who walked in. That is the shape of 16 inside a core total on its way to 7. The collapse is not the punishment. The propping up that came before it was the expensive part. Core debt. A curated surface was defended long past the point where it served you. Secrets, half-truths, or an identity managed for an audience made real intimacy expensive. When the structure finally cracked, your first reading of it is punishment. It is closer to demolition, and what it clears is space for something you will not have to keep holding upright. Common patterns. A reputation, a relationship, or a private arrangement shakes the exact moment avoidance stops working. Your instinct is to explain rather than feel. to study the collapse from a safe distance and file a tidy analysis. That intellect is genuine, and it is also where this debt hides. Depth is what this number is after, not commentary about depth. Growth focus. Humility here is not humiliation, and it is not modesty performed for other people. It means fewer masks, slower speech, and a real willingness to be taught by the thing that broke. Let your inner life grow larger in your presentation of it. Once you stop managing how wise you appear, actual wisdom has room to arrive. Practical shift. Name one mistake to yourself without a defense attached. Then say to a person it touched, if that is safe and useful. Spend half an hour this week with no audience, no notes, and no goal beyond honesty. Cancel one commitment you took on mainly because it made you look good. Summary. Debt 16/7 finishes quietly. Nobody applauds the day you stop performing. You simply notice the relief in your own shoulders. The core position, holding 16, marks when the old scaffolding stood tallest and where the rebuild matters most. And the third karmic debt is 19, which is found in their expression number. Debt of self-reliance. You learned early, and probably not gently, that the only reliable pair of hands was your own. A 19 riding inside a core total before it settles at 1 builds exactly that conviction. Capable, self-contained, allergic to depending on anybody. The self-reliance is not the debt. The debt is the belief that accepting help would cancel it, and the loneliness that belief quietly arranges around you. Core debt. Somewhere along the way, standing alone stopped being a decision and became a reflex. Self-direction was used in ways that left other people out of the account. And now independence runs automatically, whether or not the situation calls for it. Your competence is real. Nobody is asking you to trade it. What went missing is the part where you let it be shared. Common patterns. You take the heaviest end of the load without being asked, then feel unseen when nobody notices. Offers of support get waved off occasionally before you have heard them out. Cooperation reads as a threat to your autonomy, so you compete where a partnership would have won. The isolation that follows looks like proof that people cannot be counted on, and the loop tightens. Growth focus. Mature self-reliance includes knowing when to reach. Asking for help is not a withdrawal from your independence. It is what keeps your independence from becoming a room you lock yourself in. Practice receiving without repaying the same week, and let somebody finish a task differently than you would have. Strength that accepts a hand is harder to break than strength that refuses one on principle. Practical shift. Ask one person for help this week with something you would normally push through alone, and accept the version they deliver. Say thank you and stop there with no favor offered in return. Then Hand over one responsibility completely, including the right to do it their way. So, Debt 19/1 settles when you stop treating need as weakness. Trace which core total ran through 19, and you will find the room in your life where the door has been closed the longest. And for you, it was your expression number. And then we have the special letters. We have the cornerstone, the capstone, and the first vowel. Their cornerstone letter is R. Their capstone letter is N. And their first vowel is U. The power of letters. Your first name's cornerstone, opening letter, capstone, closing letter, and first vowel each add a distinct layer. The cornerstone shapes how you start and the first impression you give. The capstone shows how you finish and follow through. The first vowel names a quieter inner drive. Together, they add fine texture to the larger numbers in your chart. Oh, thank you for the galaxy. Yeah. Thank you, Ernest. Appreciate you. And cornerstone. R, the humanitarian. Generous horsepower arrives before you do. Ready to help, ready to work long, heart already in the room. People feel the goodwill well before they meet the critical streak underneath. Nobody doubts your willingness. That critical streak surfaces early whenever a kickoff looks disorganized. Aim the power at one genuinely useful first deliverable. Stay calm for the opening week and hold the fault finding until the foundation is standing. Their capstone letter is N, the original. You end by making the result unmistakably yours, documented, reflected on, shaped by the viewpoint you refused to water down with comfort. Capturing what happened is part of the delivery for you, not an optional extra tackled on afterward. Late course changes remain possible, though only after careful thought. Give yourself one short review window, then commit, and the originality gets to finish something. And their first vowel is U, the opportunist. Under the surface, you want the right place at the right time, creative advantage, resources that answer the challenge you picked, and the satisfaction of having seen it before anybody else did. Perception opens the doors. Incision is the tax you pay once too many of them stand open. Decide what a sufficient outcome looks like before chasing the next opening. An opportunity serves a chosen life. Okay, so those are the end of the numbers, okay? So if you go in the app, this is what we just finished, that first box, okay? Now we're going to go to your birth chart. And it's not that long, y'all. It's not that long. I promise you we're almost done. Okay, I know this looks crazy, but I want to explain it, okay? So I don't know if you guys remember when they were talking about numbers being on different planes. This is what they're talking about, okay? So you have the mind plane going across. I know this looks crazy, but it's supposed to look like a tic-tac-toe box, okay? But they got 3 arrows, so I try to do them in different colors. So the mind plane is going across, the soul plane is going through the middle, and the physical plane is going across the bottom. Now, the numbers in the chart are going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay? So you can see that they have some numbers, and then they have missing numbers. And then they got 3 arrows, one going that way, one coming down, and one going that way. I'm going to explain what all of that means, okay? The mind plane, this one, going across. Look at the blue lines when I'm saying go across. Maybe I should make it marker. Okay, now you can see it more. Is that clearer? Okay, so going across this way, mind in the middle, soul in the bottom, physical. Okay, the mind plane. Your mind plane sits on the top line of the birth chart and maps how you think. The numbers 3, 6, and 9 shape memory, analysis, imagination, and the drive to set mental goals. When this plane is well filled, you process ideas quickly and hold details with ease. When it is thin, you still have a mind. You simply need clearer study habits and more deliberate practice before ideas stick and ambition finds a workable plan. The soul plane, which is this the plane going across in the middle. Your soul plane runs through the center of the birth chart and describes how you feel. The numbers 2, 5, and 8 speak to sensitivity, warmth, creative feeling, and the quiet independence that grows with lived experience. A strong middle line helps you trust your inner read of people and stay open without losing yourself. A sparse, asks you to practice emotional honesty so connection and calm become skills you can use, not moods that arrive by choice. And the last one is the physical plane, going across the bottom. Your physical plane anchors the base of the birth chart and shows how you move ideas into the world. The numbers 1, 4, and 7 cover speech, motivation, organization, patience, and lessons learned by doing the hard thing. When this line is present, you tend to act, build, and show up in concrete ways. When it is light, you benefit from small, repeatable habits that turn intention into visible progress others can trust. Okay, so I'm going to go over the numbers that are there first. Okay, and then I'm going to go over the numbers that are missing, and then I'm going to go over the arrows. Okay? So first we're going to go over 3 at the top of the mind plane. The 3 opens the mind plane, the upper line of the birth chart that deals with thinking, memory, and mental life. Of the 3 mind numbers, 3, 6, and 9, it is the one tied most directly to memory and to taking in, holding, and recalling information. When the 1 and 2 are at their best in pairs, a single 3 already carries real mental strength, both on its own and as support for the rest of your chart. What it means. A single 3 gives you a sound, natural footing on the mind plane. Memory, recall, and everyday mental alertness tend to come easily, and like any ability, they stay sharp as long as you keep using them. This mental quickness is a genuine asset in learning of every kind, so it often shows early through curiosity and an easy interest in the world. Because a clear, active mind supports an optimistic outlook, you are likely to feel upbeat, confident in your own thinking, and able to turn your attention to more tasks without much strain. The next number we're going to go over that they have is the 9 on the corner of the mind plane. On your birth chart, the 9 is a powerful number of the mind plane, long associated with both conflict and achievement. Its effect depending entirely on how it is used. It belongs to the right side of the mind, the source of idealism and vision, while its physical face shows up as ambition. A great deal of human drive and much of human strife has grown from that ambition. Held in balance, the 9's vision and ambition become a force for genuine, constructive progress rather than friction in your birth chart. What it means. A single 9 carries 3 qualities: ambition, responsibility, and idealism. Lived at its best, it expresses all 3 in balance. Much of humanity's progress has come from this drive, but so have many of its problems when ambition outran responsibility and idealism. For you, the lesson is temperaments, pursuing your aims without forcing them, and letting responsibility and ideals keep ambition in proportion. Held in balance, the single 9 contributes something genuinely constructive to your own life and those around you. The next number they have is 2s. 2 twos. Okay? At the start of the soul plane. The 2 stands at the gateway of the soul plane and opens the world of intuition, sensitivity, and feeling. It is one of the most common numbers in modern birth dates, and having it on your chart is a real asset, a built-in to how sensitive and intuitive you are. As you develop these qualities, you come to understand yourself, other people, and life itself more deeply. More broadly, the qualities the 2 brings, feelings, fairness, and care for how people treat another, are a quiet but real strength in everyday life. What it means: 2 twos bring the balanced sensitivity that a single 2 has to work toward, the ideal setting for intuition to develop easily. Use it, though, and any strength left unused tends to fade. This balance gives you a sharp, natural read on people and situations, often through accurate first impressions and a quick sense of who is here and who is not, as long as ego and imagination do not cloud the picture. It tends to draw you into many areas of human life, usually with real success. So the main caution is overcommitting to too many good causes at the cost of your own peace at home. Balance, as always, is the key. Next, they have 1-5. The 5 sits at the very center of the birth chart of the soul feeling plane, where it governs the intensity of your feelings more than any other number. It is the numerology of heart, linked to love and to the freedom to express yourself emotionally and artistically. Uniquely, the 5 is in direct contact with every other number, so its warmth flows outward and enriches whatever the other numbers express. It is also the one number that is completely surrounded rather than open to the edges of the chart. A fitting paradox for the number of freedom, hinting that real freedom comes from dismantling the rigid walls we build around ourselves. What it means: a single 5 at the center gives you the best chance of genuinely balanced personality. It is also the one number that keeps corner numbers slipping, tying the whole chart together. Above all, it helps you to achieve emotional control. Your sensitivity to life matures into a reliable inner guide, so you tend to choose your responses thoughtfully rather than to act on impulse. This same warmth protects your sensitivity by strengthening fortitude and compassion, the makings of real strength of character, and carries the love and freedom that enrich every other form of expression. It deepens your understanding of your own feelings, and with it, your appreciation for the feelings of others. Next number is the 8 at the end of the soul plane. The 8 is the most active number of the soul plane, and it works on 2 levels at once. Spiritually, it is the number of wisdom, and physically, it is the number of active independence. In shape, it reads as a double 4, one square set atop another, which lifts the organizing, practical strengths of the 4 onto a higher plane of expression. That is the close kinship between the 4 and the 8, even though they belong to entirely different planes. What it means: a single 8 lived positively, makes you methodical and meticulous, with a natural tidiness, an eye for detail, and a feel for efficiency. That practical wisdom is the ground your independence grows from. Lived negatively, though the same energy can turn into apathy and instability, becoming reactive and restless, with frequent upheavals in home, career, or relationships. The difference comes down to staying with your strengths. Lean into the steady, capable side of the eight, and it becomes a real source of independence and self-direction. And the last number they have is 1 at the corner of the physical. The 1 stands at the entrance to the physical plane and represents how you express yourself, how you express your sense of self in the outside world. It is a reliable measure of how you respond to other people and to your circumstances, and of how much self-control you bring to those reactions. As the foundation of personality, the 1 is the number of ego, and of whether that ego finds healthy expression or stays held back. What it means. A single 1 usually brings some difficulty in putting your inner feelings into words. It's not that you cannot speak well, may be quite articulate on topics that do not touch you personally, but explaining your own emotions and attitudes can feel harder than it should. Under pressure, there can be a tendency to say the opposite of what you really mean, as a kind of self-protection, which only tangles communication further. The way forward is self-mastery, which grows with maturity, learning to pause and choose your words rather than react in the moment, since what is said in haste is hard to take back. Now we're going to go over the numbers that are missing, and we're going to start with the 6 on the mind plane. At the center of the mind plane, the 6 is a number of creativity, and as its shadow, of destruction. The choice between them is always yours. And from 6 up to 9, that choice grows sharper. Creativity here means something close to the activity of the creator, a spark each of us carries in smaller measures. The 6 forms the creative bridge between the memory and the analysis of the 3 and the responsible idealism of the 9, helping the whole mind plane work smoothly. It also stands at the head of the will, bringing willpower into harmony with the mind, supported beneath by the practical love of the 4 and the warmth of the 5. What it means. A missing 6 points to creativity that needs to be developed on purpose rather than relied on. The creative spark at the center of the mind plane is not supplied automatically, so you are asked to draw it out through your other numbers. If you have a 3, this comes more easily. Memory and a quick mind give creativity something to work with. Without a 3, it simply takes more deliberate mental effort to build. Common challenges. When the 6 is absent, creative expression has to be cultivated deliberately. A few tendencies can show up if that is neglected. Creativity left dormant. Without the natural pull of 6, the urge to create may not surface on its own and needs to be invited. More effort without a 3. If you also lack a 3, developing creativity takes more conscious mental work since there is less natural support to build on. Leaning on the routine. It can be easy to stay with the familiar and practical, missing the personal fulfillment that creative expression brings. Underused individuality. Creativity is how the 6 helps shape your individuality, so its absence can leave that sense of personal expression underdeveloped. Remedies. Cultivate your creative faculties on purpose, using your strengths you already have. Make something regularly. Take up a creative outlet, music, art, writing, craft, and practice it often, even in small ways. Lean on your 3 if you have one. Let memory, curiosity, and mental quickness feed your creativity. If you lack a 3, give the extra effort, patience, and consistency. Apply your will. Treat creativity as a choice you commit to, bringing willpower to the habit until it takes hold. Draw on your other numbers. Build creative expression through the strengths your chart does have, channeling them into something expressive. Express your individuality. Use creative activity as a way to develop and show who you are, not just to pass the time. Summary. A missing 6 is an invitation to develop your creativity deliberately rather than just wait for it to appear. By making something regularly, applying your will, and drawing on your other numbers, especially a 3 if you have one, you can build the creative expression the 6 would otherwise provide, and with it, a fuller sense of your own individuality. The next number that is missing is 4. The 4 is a square at the center of your physical plane. Commitment, regularity, and hands-on order. On your birth chart, it marks a practical streak that prefers clear steps, tidy systems, and work you can measure. You tend to feel most yourself when plans are concrete and routines held. That same steadiness can tip into rigidity if you never leave room to revise. So the gift of a 4 is reliable structure, paired with enough flexibility to finish what you start. What it means. A missing 4 most often shows up as impatience. The steadying, methodical quality of the 4 provides is not built in, so patience and a feel for practical detail become things to develop rather than to rely on. How strongly this shows depends on the rest of your chart, but it is readily softened with conscious effort. Common challenges. When the 4 is absent, patience and practical groundedness have to be worked at. A few tendencies can show up if that is neglected. Impatience. The most common sign, a low tolerance for delay and irritation with people or situations that do not move at your pace. Less natural order. Method, tidiness, and steady routine do not come automatically and may need conscious structure. Preferring ideas to detail. It can be tempting to skip the patient, practical detail that turns plans into finished results. Restlessness, slow, hands-on, step-by-step work may feel tedious without deliberate patience. Remedies. When the 4 is absent, cultivate patience and a steady, practical touch on purpose. Practice patience directly. Notice impatience as it arises and choose a calmer response, especially with people who work at a different pace. Mind the details. Give deliberate attention to the small, practical steps a task needs, rather than rushing them. Build simple structure. Light routines and orderly habits supply the steadiness the 4 would otherwise provide. Lead with care for others. Channeling impatience into genuine concern for other people's needs is the surest way to soften it. Finish what you start. Practice seeing practical tasks through to completion to strengthen follow-through. In summary, a missing 4 is largely a lesson in patience. By catching impatience early, attending to practical detail, and leading with care for others' needs, you can develop the steadiness, order, and grounded follow-through the 4 would otherwise provide, turning restlessness into reliable, practical strength. And that is the last number on the chart. Now we're going to go over these arrows, okay? And we're going to start with this green one who's going this way, okay? That green arrow is called the determination arrow. The 1, 5, 9 line running diagonally through your chart gives you determination, a steady drive that powers nearly everything you set out to do. What this arrow gives you. Determination is the foundational force in your life. Once you decide on something, you push toward it with real persistence and do not give up easily when obstacles appear. That drive shows up in almost everything you take on. Some people rush to act on an idea. Others wait patiently for the right moment. And at your best, you find the middle path, letting intuition, compassion, and a sense of wisdom guide when to press forward. Watch outs. Your persistence can tip into stubbornness, and the real skill is knowing when to keep going and when to step back. Every obstacle is meant to be forced through. Some are a signal to look for a different route, and bulldozing ahead anyway can set you up for disappointment. The more this drive is concentrated, say a double 1, 5, or 9, the stronger it grows, and the more it needs your intuition to steer it. A double 1 channels it through ego and self-assertion. A double 5 through emotional intensity, and a double 9 through ambition or idealism. But you don't have any doubles in your 1, 5, or 9. The aim is not to soften your determination, but to aim it well. Before you commit your full weight to something, check in with your intuition. Is it worth pushing through? Or is the resistance telling you to change your course? Pairing decisiveness with compassion and a willingness to reconsider turns sheer willpower into something far more effective. You reach what matters to you without wearing yourself down on the wrong battles. Next is the arrow going from the 2 2s, the 5, and the 8 going across, which is called the emotional balance arrow. 2, 5, 8 line gives you the emotional balance arrow, a natural equilibrium in your feelings paired with a deep intuitive sensitivity. What this arrow gives you. You have an unusually rich emotional life and a wide range of ways to express it. You tend to read situations and people accurately, sensing what others need and feel. You carry a quiet sense that there is more to life than its physical surface. That blend of balance and sensitivity makes you a natural in caring and creative roles, counseling, healing, the arts, where you can emphasize deeply without losing yourself. Watch outs. The same depth can make you overly serious, and your emotional range means you can play many roles. So watch that you do not over-identify with a persona or let strong feelings overwhelm your sense of self. Even an understanding of balance can stay theoretical if you do not apply it across all of life rather than just the inner part. Bringing it into balance. Stay quietly in charge of your emotions rather than sweeping along by them, and deliberately let lightness in. Joyful company and easy enjoyment offset the seriousness. Keep an open mind, too. No single approach holds all the answers, so trust your feeling, nature, and intuition as guides without hardening them into dogma. And finally, we have the planner arrow going through the 3, the double twos, and the 1. The left hand column 1, 2, 3 gives you the planner arrow. It joins the gateway numbers of all 3 planes, linking self-expression, intuition, and memory into a real gift for organizing. What this arrow gives you. You have a natural love of order, method, and knowledge, and a knack for putting ideas together into workable plans, often genuinely brilliant ones. You connect your own expression with intuition and analytical, retentive mind, which is why thinking things through and arranging them comes so easily to you. Watch outs. Unless your chart also leans practical, you can end up more interested in the function of planning than in living, drawing up schemes for others to carry out while skimming the details of how they'll actually work. That is where a subtle laziness creeps in. Becoming absorbed in your own plans can also make you a little aloof, taking people for granted and missing what they need. Bringing it to balance. Stay close to the small, practical details rather than waving them away, and follow your plans through into action instead of handling them off. Keep your attention on the people around you. 2, consciously valuing their needs and views to keep your gift for organizing connected and grounded rather than detached. And that is the end, y'all. We finished it. Okay? So like I said, this is somebody's specific numerology report. So if you want yours, go into the app store if you have iPhone. Okay? It's called Numerology and Astrology. If you don't have iPhone, like I said, I can read yours too. Just send me a message on Instagram, please, and thank you, because all the other inboxes are crazy. All right. Oh, let me get out of the way so they can take a screenshot of their numbers. All right. Any questions before I get up off of here? So I gotta go do something with my son. Oh, let me turn you around Instagram so I can see. Oh, Instagram, any questions? Oh, no. No questions on Instagram. You my biggest fan. Oh, thank you. Okay, let me see. Any questions? YouTube? Are you Italian? No. She knows she can read. And I love to read. Any questions? TikTok? Thank you for the gifts. If you make videos, I'd watch them. I do make videos. I do. Okay, if you go to my YouTube, also there are organizing playlists. I like to read a lot, so the books that I like, I put them on there. Um, when the author lets me. One of my favorite books, the author took off, but we're not talking about that. However, yeah, and there are organized playlists, so a lot of times, you might not have time to read, but you just send me the book, I can read it to you, and you can listen to it in the car. So make sure you follow me on YouTube. I mean, I do put them on TikTok, but YouTube just puts them in a nice little playlist and just plays straight through. So TikTok, not too much. But follow me on YouTube, Unicorn Raya. YouTube, I don't know if this video is going to post automatically, so make sure you're following me on Instagram because it's going to post as soon as I hang up. My Instagram is Unicorn Raya's IG. Okay. And if you guys want to support YouTube, you guys can support to send in money. But if you want to send gifts, make sure you're following me on TikTok, the Unicorn Raya. However, I was not uploading to TikTok because it's too long. Okay, so if you want to watch this video from the beginning, watch it on YouTube. It will post in a couple hours. Or watch it immediately on Instagram. All right. Where am I from? I'm from the Midwest, but I live in Maryland. Also, I do have a lot of information in my bio. So when you guys follow me on these places, please read the bio. A lot of common answers are in there, so you guys don't have to wait 3 weeks for a response in my DMs. Okay. But yeah, I gotta go. I'm gonna come back after I finish this with my son. All right, so I'm gonna come back. Clap, please. All right, see y'all later. See y'all later. Bye, Instagram. Write this on the board. My bad. Okay, so the name of the app, if you want your numerology, they also have your astrology report in there too. I just don't read people's astrology reports. This is very, very, very detailed, and I'll be trying to give them that privacy. So if you want me to read yours, if you don't have an iPhone, I will. But if you have an iPhone, I highly recommend that you get it yourself because then you can go over the astrology part too. And this is what it's called in the App Store. I'm coming, Jamal. I'm coming. I'm finishing up now. They're like, girl, hurry up. Okay? This was called in the App Store. Numerology and Astrology. If you want to rewatch this video, I actually have a lot of these videos because I do them for different people. They are posted on my YouTube, which takes a couple hours to post, but it does post. My YouTube is Unicorn Raya. All right. It does post immediately to my Instagram. Okay, so my Instagram is Unicorn Raya's IG. Okay. And if you would like to support my live when I go live, through gifts, follow me on TikTok. Okay. TikTok, I normally be on TikTok the most because TikTok does allow me to download my videos. Sometimes Instagram be playing games and YouTube does not allow me to download them. So a lot of times when I'm going live, I will go live on TikTok. I love YouTube. I be trying to get y'all online, but sometimes I go live on Instagram and TikTok at the same time. But normally, if I have to pick one, it is TikTok because it allows me to download the live. So if you are looking for me the most and you're like, oh my God, where is she at? Why is she not live? It's probably because I'm live on TikTok. And my TikTok is the Unicorn Raya. All right, now, you see how these are all spelled? Okay? If you enter any extra numbers, extra spaces, extra letters, you will end up on a fake page that is not run by me. Okay, so please type the whole name in. Okay, I'm shadow banned on 2 of these apps. So if you just start typing my name and just click on the auto-populated account, it's a fake account. Okay, I am shadow banned. So you gotta type the whole thing. Otherwise, you'll end up on a fake page, and then you're gonna come find me months later, mad because you've been talking to somebody in a whole other country. Okay, so these are they. Like I said, if you have access to iPhone, go here. If you don't, and you want me to read your report and or send you the screenshots, please send me a message here. Okay. This inbox is crazy, and YouTube, you guys don't have the option to message me. So let me actually move out of the way so it's not blurry, so YouTube can say that. There you go, YouTube. You see it? All right. Any other questions before I go? I really gotta go. Any fast questions? Thank you for the roses. Thank you for everybody who's sending me gifts. I seen y'all sending me gifts. I seen y'all tapping the screen, sharing the live, reposting. I appreciate everybody that was supporting the live. Everybody that sent me gifts, I do follow everybody after because TikTok gives me a nice little analytical screen of my live. So if you send me a gift, it does allow me to follow the first 100 people that are the top 100 people that sent me gifts. So if you send me gifts, I'll follow you after this. Okay. Hug us, please. All right, group hug. Delivered. All right. I will see you guys later. All right. Bye, YouTube. I'll see you guys later.